Hi, I'm Angela Smith, Superintendent of the Madison Local School District, and I'd like to welcome everybody to the 2020-21 school year. This has obviously been one of these times in history that I think none of us will ever forget. Trying to open school in the middle of a pandemic has presented unique challenges. I'm an educator by trade. 34 years teaching and learning have been my passion, my life's work. And in the last year, we've had to learn all sorts of things about medicine, sanitation, legal aspects related to a pandemic. And when that happens, you work with other people. And we have been partnering with NBD Medical and Dr. Kevin Trangle to bring protocols that will help us open our schools safely, give confidence to our staff and students that we can do this right, because we want people in school. Students need to be in our buildings learning each and every day, because we know that interaction with a teacher isn't the same on a computer screen, no matter how hard we try to make it. So we want buildings to be open. We also want to provide people the option that if they don't feel comfortable coming to school, they are doing the online schooling that we offer. But all of this is done in collaboration and partnerships with many, many people. We've worked with the Lake County General Health District, and as I said, NBD Medical, to ensure that we're doing things safely for our students and staff, administration, custodial staff, transportation department, nutrition services, all the various aspects that go into running a school. For staff, we're taking your concerns seriously, and we are going to conduct a thorough survey to get your ideas and opinions about what we need to do to make the safest environment possible in consultation with our medical experts. There's a lot of challenges ahead of us, but the one thing I'm excited about is having people back in our buildings to work together for the betterment of our students and community. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dr. Kevin Trangle. I'm an occupational medicine and environmental medicine specialist. I'm an internist. I've worked in the arena of working with companies and organizations to make them safe workplaces for a variety of different perspectives, including infectious disease control. I've done this not only in the US, but around the world. I've teamed up with NBD International with an organization now called NBD Medical. Your school board, your superintendent, your administration has reached out to us to make sure that they are able to open the schools in the safest way possible. We provide both medical advice as well as disinfection and sanitation advice. We follow the guidelines of the Ohio State Board of Education, as well as the specific guidelines that you have developed for the school district. We are here for you. We are part of an entire process of producing a manual as well as a video, and ultimately we actually provide disinfection and medical advice. We will actually be here for you 24/7 to answer questions on positive tests, kids with medical issues, and how to handle the classroom, how to handle the staff issues, and how to handle in general community concerns. We will be available to work with parents, to work with the staff, as well as the students, and provide information and provide structure. We won't stop when we're done with the manual and the video that we're producing right now. We're going to be available, as I said, to answer questions as these issues arise. In this segment of what we're trying to accomplish is to let you know as parents, teachers, and as a community what the expectations are for bringing people into the school system. The school system consists of both elementary, middle school, and high school, of course. But the questions that we're going to ask and the pre-entrance information that's necessary is going to be the same really for all the different levels of education. We want the parents in particular in the elementary school level to understand that the children should not be going to school unless they are disease-free. That means they have to have a symptom checklist for their children. This will include fevers, coughing, diarrhea, loss of smell or loss of taste, having traveled or having been exposed to somebody that has COVID. If somebody has been exposed to COVID, or you know somebody that's been exposed to COVID, or if your children or anybody in your family is positive for COVID, you will not be able to enter the school, nor should you. This is a prerequisite for the elementary school as well as middle and high schools. In the elementary school, the burden of this information and the burden of responsibility is really the parents. When it comes to the middle and the high school, it's a shared responsibility between the parents as well as the students themselves. They're old enough to know that if they have a temperature of 99.9 or higher and they have any of the signs or symptoms that we just mentioned, which will be transmitted to all of you in the form of a handout and information both sent electronically and in mail, that you should not be coming to school. We have to protect our community and each other, and this is the best way to do it. This also will go for the staff. This will also go for any visitors to any of these locations.
Disinfecting the buses is a critical issue to the safety of the children. Where it's appropriate and where the weather is permitting, the windows should be open for increased ventilation to allow fresh air into the bus. When cleaning the bus and disinfecting it between runs, before the morning or in the evening, we're going to start by making sure that we hit the handrail leading up, which is considered a high-touch area. On the way back, it'll be wiped and disinfected. We're then going to proceed to go up the stairs, attack the backs and seats. After finishing the handrail and the front steps, to disinfect properly, you're going to move towards the back of the bus, hitting the seat backs and the seats on the way in. After finishing at the back of the bus, to disinfect properly, we're going to turn around and hit the front of the seats, which is a possible sneeze area. Upon exiting, we're going to wipe down the high-touch areas of the handrails. We're using a disinfectant that requires no PPE. The driver will safely be able to get in the vehicle and start to his next route. Proper equipment to disinfect the bus is a Victory sprayer filled with ProCure disinfectant, rubber gloves, and a face mask. With this, you're able to disinfect the bus in under 2 minutes without rushing. A few things have changed since your last trip on a school bus. First and foremost is the requirement that you wear a mask. This is important for the safety of others and yourself. You will not be allowed to enter the bus without a mask. Then as you go in, you will notice the hand sanitizer dispenser, which is a new feature. Kindly put a dab on your hands, rub them briskly together, and now it's safe for you to enter the bus, to take your assigned seat. Your assigned seat will be based on the position you were picked up in. You are to sit and move all the way to the back of the bus, to the last available seat, and sit down. Family members can sit together. We're sitting 2 to a seat, and that's the procedure for entering the bus and taking the ride to school. When we arrive at the school and we're about to leave the bus, we're going to do so in an orderly fashion. We're going to begin at the front, taking turns from seat to seat, row by row, until the back of the bus is totally emptied and every student has left the bus. In this orderly fashion, it's the most safest and easiest way for us to disembark the bus. After the students have disembarked the bus, a maintenance personnel will enter the bus with disinfection equipment. Between runs, the bus will be disinfected for the safety of the children due to COVID-19.
This is Dr. Trangle again. I'm actually filling in for the school nurse role at the moment. I'm sitting in the office of the school nurse at the elementary school. There will be a school nurse available at each of the facilities. And if not directly on site, we'll be quickly able to be transported to the school nurse. Please realize that if your child comes to school, any of the symptoms that we mentioned in the first section, they will be sent to the school nurse's office and they will be taken out of class, out of whatever they're doing, in order to sit here in isolation until they are picked up within 30 minutes. Do not send your child to school And you, if you're the student looking at this video, do not come to school if you have any of the signs or symptoms, you've been exposed to COVID, or you know somebody that's been exposed to COVID. This is your responsibility. We will talk about, when people come in here, how we're going to actually isolate them in basically cubicles to limit the airflow and to limit the contact. And that will be the standard procedure we're going to use in each of our facilities as we encounter kids that are sick or kids that have medical issues. Please do not send them to the school if they have any of these problems.
A special area is going to be set aside close to the nurse's office for students, staff, faculty that showing COVID symptoms. Basically, they'll be under direct supervision of the school nurse. They will be isolated from the rest of the population. This will be the isolation area that will be set up with containment. If your student exhibits symptoms and you receive a call from the school, you'll be given specific instructions as to where to pick them up, because the normal procedures will not apply. This area is close to an exterior door. We're going to try and minimize exposure to whatever possible pathogens may be with the student. We are currently looking at building infrastructure related to the school systems as far as the HVAC systems, paying particular attention to the turnover of the air in each individual classroom, as well as additional filtration through HEPA filters. We are hoping that in the very near future, we'll be able to maximize the filtration possibility of the school building's HVAC system.
We are now in an ideal elementary school classroom. If you look around, you will see here that it is decluttered, which makes it much easier to sanitize on a regular basis. These desks are spaced apart, appropriate distance, which is approximately 6 feet where all possible. And it's easy to keep socially isolated while we're here. In addition, I do want to talk about the mask policy, which is something that's going to be mandated in all schools at all levels, regardless if you are in elementary or middle school. Everyone will be required to wear a mask on school premises. This includes both elementary, middle school, high school. It will include both the staff as well as the teachers. It will include the faculty, the janitorial and administrative staff, as well as the secretarial, and everybody that is in the facility. It will include visitors. It's basically mandatory. And in the school system, the decision was made really to include at all grade levels, including kindergarten. Obviously, the younger kids will have to be made part of almost a game procedure in order for them to wear masks, but it's worked in many other situations and many other venues, and there's no reason it shouldn't work here. The face mask will be worn in this particular area, as well as when transiting between the different classrooms and the bathroom, etc. For all intents and purposes, this is the bottom guideline. In terms of the classroom itself, in the younger grades, there will be papers that will be used, but they will be papers that will not be necessarily passed around. There will be fresh papers copied and distributed to each of the students, whether it's coloring or whether it's writing. The kids will have their own papers. In the older grades, beginning in 3rd grade, there are Chromebooks. Everybody will have their own particular technology device that they will be instructed how to keep clean, how to sanitize on their own on a regular basis. The students will also be sanitizing their desks and their materials on a regular basis. Every school room will have with it sanitizing gel and sanitizing wipes. These are going to be used liberally in the course of the day to make sure that everything is kept clean and sanitary. Anytime a student has to leave the classroom, whether to go to the bathroom or for another reason, they will sanitize with the gel. Anytime they come back, they will sanitize with the gel. This is the best way to keep everything as clean as possible. If we do it this way, we don't need to wear gloves. We can really just rely on the regular sanitation. To the extent possible, there will be less circulation within the classroom, and people will spend most of their time at their desks. There may be some stretching. To the extent possible, we will try to avoid groups. We talked about doing recess in a different manner. And we talked about the lunchroom, etc., which will be elaborated in a different section of the video.
Welcome back north. We're excited to have you guys back in our building. Safety first is that's our number one of our big five, as everybody knows. And one of the big things is when we move through a hallway, just like normal, it's always controlled. And it's going to be extra controlled this year because we have these blue lines, as you're going to see. It's almost like you're on a street. This is the median that you don't cross if you're driving, right side of the road. And when you're coming this direction, you're on the right side of the road. And we're going to obviously keep our social distancing spacing, 5 to 6 feet, controlled, simple, and obviously safe. We're going to be entering our building in the morning, 7:30 sharp, nobody earlier than that. And once again, just like the buses, we're going to have a controlled entry. We're going to be using this as our main lobby for K to 2. Then 3 to 5 will go through our front entrance. You'll be escorted by our aides. We already have those designated who's going to be walking the kids into the building. Once you come in the building, there's going to be X's on the floor, socially distanced 5 to 6 feet away. You'll line up on those, and once those X's are filled, then the aides will take you down, controlled, to obviously the classroom. This is our other entrance. This is going to be our entrance for 3 through 5. We will have our aides obviously escorting children down the hallway. They will obviously have to stay on the right side and the left side of the hallway, just like the other video showed. We're going to talk about dismissal a little bit differently than in the past. So we're doing a new pickup. You obviously come curbside. I will have aides out there as spotters, so to speak. They will radio us your obviously number into one of two locations. K to 2 will be in the library. Mrs. O'Shaben will be in charge of that. She will obviously call out the number and obviously the kid's name, and then they will obviously be transported right through the doors to obviously the spotter that will hand the kid off to the parent. And then 3 to 5, we're doing the exact same thing, but from the cafeteria. What it'll look like a little bit differently is this. Your child will have a number, so to speak. So this says 001. The first number is your grade level. So this is kindergarten for 0, and this is kindergarten student number 1. If it said 438, that would be 4th grade student number 38. So everybody will know their grade, it's the first number, and obviously their student ID for pickup in the afternoon. So we'll call it in, the spotter will call it in, number 438, that's obviously 4th grade, so the spotter in the cafeteria will say, hey, number 38, 4th grade 38, and they will then be transported out to the pickup where the spotter will make sure that they get in the correct car. As you can see, the cafeteria definitely looks different at North. We're used to sitting in tables where we obviously control the cleaning up of the cafeteria. We incentivize behavior and loudness, etc. This year we are all facing west. It really doesn't matter which direction, as long as it's the same direction. Kids will come in here, whether it's a classroom or if it's just the buyers, so to speak. But we are going to control essentially 1/3 of the cafeteria. So we will control who sits where, almost like assigned seating on a bus. These tables, we are going to have 1 child per table, and then we're obviously going to all be facing the same direction. Also, recess is a little bit differently too. Recess is not attached to lunches. We want to make sure we're controlling the recess, only 1 class on the playground, 1 class out on the field at a time, so 2 at max rather than a whole 100 out there per grade level. We're going to talk about the restroom usage. Once again, controlled as usual. We're going to limit obviously who goes in and out. One child per in the bathroom at a time. You know, one comes in, one goes out. Our rule always is that we don't want more than 1 kid out of a classroom at a time anyway, so that teacher can release the kid to go use the restroom, but until that kid comes back, another kid cannot go out into the bathrooms.
A lot of talk has been about proper hand washing. And when you go to the restroom, before you leave the classroom, you'll take a dab of hand sanitizer, wash your hands. But after you're finished in the restroom, we're going to discuss the proper way to wash your hands. Now, they say to do it for 20 seconds. I find that if I say my ABCs, I can pretty much run into the 20-second minimum, meaning A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. I'm now ready to go back to class.
Our water fountains, we've obviously turned those off. We've added drink bottle filling stations throughout the district, but we have shut down all normal drinking fountains, and the children are going to be asked to bring a water bottle. That's one of their supplies, school supplies.
Classrooms are going to be disinfected daily. Special attention is going to be paid to doorknobs and the high touch areas, which are from the knees to the top of the hand reach.
Hello Blue Streak Nation, how are you? My name's Tom Brady. I'm the middle school principal, and I want to talk to you about some of the COVID protocols that we have put in place here at the middle school from the time they get off the bus until the time they go home. So I'm going to walk you through a couple things right now. So when they come off the bus in the morning, you can see behind me the two big double doors. They're going to be socially distanced by grade level. 6th grade will go off to the right to go to their classes or to their assigned areas. Socially distanced, 6 feet apart, and will go into their pods. 7th and 8th grade will be socially distanced getting off the bus as well, going up to their pods in the upper part of our 2nd floor. During the school day, we're going to have signage on the floors and on the hallways for class changes. All the students need to do is look on the floor to where they're going to go next. We are going to have directional class changes, so once they come out of a class change, they will follow the class changes and follow the other students socially distanced 6 feet apart to go to their next class. We are going to be changing classes by teams. So there's going to be half the students in the hallway at one time. So this is just to protect your students and the staff here at Madison Middle School. And during the course of the day, everybody who comes in from the time they get off the bus, well, the time they get on the bus, leave home, and from the time they leave here at school, they will be masked. That is the students, staff, and administration, teachers' aides, lunch aides, everybody will be wearing a mask all day long. So these are some of the things that we've put in place. Just wanted to give you a heads up. I'm looking forward to a fantastic year. We've been working with medical experts all year long, all summer long, and we're going to be doing disinfecting. Everybody's going to be wearing masks. The desks and the chairs will be disinfected between classes. So we've been following the protocols of the CDC and the medical experts we've been working with all summer. So this is just for your safety, your student safety, and for the safety of the Madison Middle School staff.
My name is Scott Harold. I'm the assistant principal here at Madison Middle School. I wanted to take a little bit of time to show you some of the steps that we are taking here at the middle school to emphasize social distancing and the safety of all of our faculty, staff, and students. Behind me you can see our main office secretaries here. We have taken steps to declutter their areas, which will make it easier for sanitation to take place in the evenings. It'll make it easier for staff members to clean. We have also put in the plexiglass barriers to prevent any sort of transfer of any sort of particles or droplets or anything like that. Moving ahead to this area, we are going to take steps and put in procedural guidelines where only 2 students will be allowed in the office to talk to the secretaries at a time. And for any adults or for anybody else that needs to enter the office for that matter, we will have steps and procedures implemented where they can stand outside of the office maintaining their 6 feet of distance. Behind me you will see our faculty and staff mailbox area. We are right now in the process of developing a system which will limit the amount of traffic with faculty and staff members checking their mailboxes We really want to focus on developing either a time of day when certain grade levels or by subject areas where those teachers can come down and check their mailboxes. Once again, it's all in an effort to prevent any mass gatherings of people. The goal that we have here in order to maintain social distancing and safety for all of our faculty and staff is to really limit the amount of people that we have using this particular copy machine. We would like our office staff to have main access to this copier. There will be guidelines emphasizing that other teachers in other areas, other faculty members, staff members, that they use the copiers that have been provided to them in their grade level office areas. Really, what we would like to see happen is everyone utilize technology to the best of its ability. If you do need to come to a copier, please utilize your computer program, which will allow you to print to a copier, where all you would have to do is come down, simply sweep your fob key, release the document that you need printed, grab and go. In any event, please remember to always sanitize a piece of equipment or the machine prior and following use. There will be hand sanitizer available for you, and there will also hopefully be wipes available where you can wipe down the piece of equipment that you used upon your completion.
The staff workroom will be open, but we're trying to limit congregation, so please no more than 2 staff members in the workroom at any one time. Hand sanitizer will be available. We suggest you sanitize your hands first. The refrigerator and sink is available. The refrigerator is for food you bring from home only. The coffee and microwave are also available. The handles of the refrigerator, microwaves, and coffee maker are considered high-touch areas. So please be careful after using them, and kindly use a sanitary wipe and wipe the tops of them and the keypads of both the microwave, coffee pot, refrigerator, and the sink knobs.
Hi, this is Dr. Trangle again. I am in the nurse's office in the middle school. The procedure we're going to be using in the middle school is a little bit different than the elementary school. In this particular instance, the nurse's office is within the main administrative pod of the middle school. We don't want people that are having certain symptoms that may be compatible with COVID-19 to come into this office. The procedure will be for the teacher to call down to the nurse and let them know they have somebody that they suspect may have a medical issue because they have a fever, a cough, lack of smell, diarrhea, or some other issue that may be compatible with the virus. In that case, the person will be sent directly to room 136, which is your contamination and sanitation quarantine area. We're setting that up to make it safe with the right ventilation and the right separation. The nurse will then meet them at the sanitation quarantine room and make sure they are properly evaluated, and they will be left there until they can be picked up. The nurse will then come back here. They will be monitored by using a closed-circuit camera to make sure that everything is fine and there's no issues with the student.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the 2020-2021 school year. And yes, it will be quite different. I'm Bill Fisher, principal here at the high school. And as you can see, there will be many changes this year. But I first want to assure you that we will do everything possible to try to make it a safe and healthy environment, both for staff and for students, and a very positive experience for their school year. So let me start with a couple general things. What we're doing is similar in all the schools, so you probably have heard a couple things. One obviously will be masks. So as you would expect and know, all staff members as well as all students will be wearing masks throughout the school day. There are times when they're isolated or physical distance, they might be able to slip down their mask, but we're going to ask students and staff to keep them on as much as possible. Second area will be, we'll have sanitized bottles Perhaps you can see it on the desk there, so they can frequently sanitize their hands, encourage students to wash their hands, etc. When students arrive at school in the morning, as you know, we have 3 areas that students arrive at school. We have the bus drop-off on the Middle Ridge side. We have parents who drive, bring their kids to school, grandparents at the flagpole on Burns Road. And of course, we have the student parking area, which is along the softball field. So as students arrive, they'll be coming in those 3 different areas. Students first will be required to report straight to their classroom. We will not be using lockers, so at the beginning of the year, lockers are not allowed. We encourage students to wear, use a backpack or something to carry their supplies, etc. in. Students that arrive, if they need to get a lunch or a breakfast, the breakfast will be available. It will be a grab and go. Those students that are on free reduced privileges can pick up their breakfast, but they will be eating them in their classroom, take it with them when they go straight to their classroom. We ask parents and students who are driving not to arrive before 7:45. The school daily schedule remains the same. School will start at 8:10. So between 7:45 and 8:10, the buses will be dropping. Students will be heading to their classrooms and that. With block scheduling, we do have fewer class changes, but we will take every precaution to make sure that students can safely move about the building. We will have one-way hallways, which will be clearly marked. You're familiar with them from going to supermarket stores, I'm sure. We will have the wider hallways will have two-way flow of traffic, but they'll be separated. One side will be one direction and coming back the other direction on the other side. The students will be encouraged to maintain 6-foot distance, physical distancing as they move through the hallways, moving to their next class. Lunches will be in the cafeteria still. Those students, and we will go over procedures with them during their welcome day next week. So part of the COVID protocol, we will be reviewing these different ideas and rules. But students are going to be encouraged to sit on just one side of the table, facing one direction in the cafeteria. They will be spaced out properly, distanced out so that we try to maintain that safe spacing in that. The other thing I would want to let you know that we'll be reviewing with students is we will have a staggered dismissal at the end of the day. That means that they will be released in 3 groups. First, students will be released to report directly to the bus. Then the group will be released, those students that drive, etc., released to go to their cars. And then finally, students that are staying for practices, etc., after school will be released last to report to those areas and that. So with that, feel free anytime to email myself, the other administrators, or a teacher. We really look forward to having you back and having a safe and good year. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brett Tomko. I'm the band director. I'll take this off, it'll be a little easier to hear. So right now we are at just under 150 kids for the band this year. We were able to split that into smaller groups. We are looking at every avenue to make band as safe as possible, and there's been a lot of talk about how to do that. So some things we're doing is we're planning to start the year doing some theory inside, doing some playing outside. The band room behind me looks very different than normal. We have, like I said, we're at 6-foot distance in here. We're waiting to see if that's enough. Everything we do is going to be taken under medical supervision and directive because we want everyone to be as safe as possible. Some other things we're doing, we're splitting the instrument storage rooms, so only half the students will have to store in a confined space. We're looking at things like bell covers that, to resist particle spread. We're also looking at the filtration system in the band room with possibly adding HEPA filters and making it as safe as possible to perform in a group setting.
Hi, I'm Jocelyn Kilpatrick, and I am an English and drama teacher here at Madison High School. I'm going to take off my mask so you can see my face and hear me talking a little better. This year we are not having any drama classes during the school day, but we are hoping to run an after-school program call it drama club, and maybe do some of the activities that we would normally do in drama class, so have fun and hang out and bond and do some improv. Of course, all with social distancing and masks. We'll follow all of the guidelines that are given to us by our medical professional. We're hoping also to mount perhaps a small production this year. Maybe just a small group of kids doing something like a staged reading perhaps, and again following all the social distancing guidelines, where we have kids separated by 6 feet, wearing masks, maybe using a microphone. Hopefully we can videotape this and show it to an audience online. It would be great if we could collect money for ticket prices to pay for the cost of the production. Of course, we have to pay for rights for a show, so we always have to make up that money. But we're really excited about all the opportunities that this presents us with. Of course, it'll be a challenge, but what do we do best in the theater department? We get creative. And I know that theater is important to so many kids. For some of those kids, it's the reason they come to school, is to be a part of drama. And I love it and have the passion for it too. So here's hoping for a great year in Madison High School Theater.
We're in the gymnasium, as you can see. The only reason I'm here right now is to let you know how important we all feel that sports, fitness, and athletic training is to the well-being of the student body and to all of us as far as that goes. I have enlisted some of the athletic directors and the physical education director here to talk more in detail what we're going to do. I do want you to know that what they're going to be proposing has medical advice and soundness behind it. We want to make sure that we do this in the best way possible to mitigate any disease transmission and to be as safe as possible. So they are actually doing this with the endorsement of a medical advisory group.
I'm Tim Willis. I'm the physical education teacher here at Madison High School. A couple things that we're going to be doing here is we're going to really be focusing on lifetime fitness, getting in our fitness room, our weight room, and actually we have a fitness trail here, things that students will be able to do for their whole life. And obviously we are just going to be following all the protocols as far as sanitation, making sure we're wiping down everything after each use. If we're using any kind of equipment, that needs to be wiped down after each use. In the weight room, if a kid is benching, he won't have to wear the mask, but the person spotting will have to use it. So there's going to be a lot of protocols as far as staying as safe as possible. But we believe that fitness is really important to help preventing some of these illnesses. So we're excited to get after this and do what's best for our kids.
Hello everyone, I am John Dragus. I'm the athletic director at Madison Schools. As you know, sports are important. Athletics is a very important part of the whole person. Obviously our students are student athletes, so we want them to be good students first. We want them to be safe athletes. We will follow all the protocols. If you don't feel well, stay home. Wearing masks when you're not involved in competition. Staying 6 feet apart, we'd like to call them airplane arms, whenever possible when you're not in a contest. And of course, trying to sanitize equipment and our hands as often as we possibly can. Sports will be a challenge. They will be different. Obviously, there's a difference between contact sports and non-contact sports. We are following protocols put in place by the Governor's Office, by the Ohio Department of Health, the Lake County Health District, as well as the OHSAA. We want to be safe, we want to be competitive, we want to have a season. That being said, fans will be different this year as far as having spectators in the stands. So we believe that they're going to put a limit on the number we can have. We're going to do so safely. Concession stands will be done most likely with sealed food and things like that. And at the end of the day, we want our student athletes to have a great experience, a positive experience, a safe and healthy experience. And we're going to put our students first, and hopefully we'll get enough spectators in that at least mom and dad will be able to see the games.
Hi, I'm Jen Katniss-Grimes. I'm the Student Services Director for Madison Local Schools. At Madison Local Schools, we have roughly 500 students who have been identified with special needs, who are on IEPs, individual education plans. There are students that we serve that are on the autism spectrum, behavior challenges, emotional disturbance, and students who are also who have multiple disabilities. And each of those are served in different buildings throughout the district. We have about 30 staff members all together throughout all of the buildings, and those who are also working for and with our students who we place in other more appropriate settings. And we've been working with them to get all of the support, the PPE, and the specific guidelines that each of those, whether it's a speech therapist or an occupational therapist or a physical therapist, those sort of things, there's different guidelines from the Department of Health, the CDC, and obviously the governor's orders. And so we've been trying to coordinate all of those to get them all of the materials that they need to best support the kids. We have a lot of support for our staff. This contract that we have been able to get guidance is also to help for any medical related issues, whether we have a challenge with somebody testing positive, how that's going to look, where that student or where that staff member, there's resources for the parents, especially for students with special needs. There's a lot of anxiety that goes along with what a real symptom is, or what to do if they don't want to wear a mask, or where they should go if they are needing a mask break. All of those things are being addressed. We have a lot of professional development, and we've also been able to get a lot of good guidance from the associations and our legal department that we're all a part of.
Hi, this is Dr. Kevin Trangle again. I think we're at the end of our session together. We have finished the training video, which covers many, but not all of the particular situations and issues that will arise. We also have produced a very comprehensive manual that will go out to all the staff, to all the students, and to anybody else who's interested, which includes the parents and the community. Our goal in this is to make sure, as your Board of Directors and your Board of Education has mandated, including the superintendent, all the administrative staff, they want this to be a very safe school district that is using not only the most up-to-date guidelines propagated by the different organizations in the state and nationally, but also having specific medical and sanitation advice for your school district. In that regard, we have spent time training the staff in doing disinfection and sanitation procedures. We have talked to the staff and all the personnel in the district on how to handle the different issues that will arise. We want you to know we're going to be with you every step of the way. We're going to be with you in terms of answering questions. There will be a 24/7 medical hotline that we can help answer questions for not only students, but also staff and parents. As I said, our goal is to be with you every step of the way, just from 6 feet away.